Let's bring on the voice of the Orange, Matt Park, to talk about a big win. And, Matt, you had a great seat for these last four games. What was different about last night? I guess when you look at the Houston game, you look at the Tennessee game, they were very similar games. Syracuse wins one, loses one. Is it just a case of, that's basketball and, one game the ball goes in, you get the call and you get the free throw, other game you don't get the free throw? Or did you see something tangibly different, I guess, down the stretch of that game last night that allowed them to win?
I would say more of the first category there. I don't think it was tremendously different. There is a benefit, of course, from playing on your home floor and familiar surroundings and being in position there to just kind of visualize it and see it through in a way that maybe you don't playing in a casino arena 2,000 miles away from home. We all know the Houston game could have gone either way. They could have won it just as easily. I do think, I heard you guys mention at the start of the show, Tennessee was distinct from Houston, and that Tennessee participated in it a little bit last night with the turnovers and the missed free throws and that kind of thing. That counts. Syracuse played great and deserved to win and everything, but they, if you're wondering in a game of inches, one or 2 points here, how did you make the difference? That's one of the ways that the games were different.
I've heard the term season-saving win, and I feel like most of the time if I heard that in the month of December, I would kind of roll my eyes. I don't roll my eyes at it last night because in a lot of ways it did feel like a season-saving win, right? We all know the non-conference schedule is what it is. We know what's to come here where the schedule eases up a little bit going into the month of January. I mean, I guess, can you speak, Matt, in your mind, how big was that win last night? Are we overstating it by saying that was season-saving to some degree?
I'm not going to say it's overstating because I think it's all in the eye of the beholder. My feeling is there's going to be opportunities for quality wins in the ACC, and Syracuse is in decent shape to get them. Doesn't mean they're going to knock them all out. I just don't think they're going to be tremendously outclassed by anybody they face, save for Duke, who's probably at a different level than everybody. And Carolina got a good win last night at Kentucky, so we'll see what Carolina and Louisville are like. That's really the very top of the conference is those three teams. But you do have to, feel like each time you take the floor, you've got a chance. I think a loss last night would have taken some steam out. There's no question, because you've gone 0-4 in that stretch, and albeit without Donnie Freeman, this next period of games, yes, the team's got to kind of maintain and stay strong and make this more of a repeatable type level of energy and effort and all of that. But on paper, there's not a lot to gain from these next 5 games in terms of your net ranking and all of that. These are expected to be blowouts, and that's the framework with which we're going to watch them. I just personally am not one of these season is over people. I understand that it's my job to be at every game, so I have a different kind of point of view. They could have lost last night, and I'm going to be there the next game, ready to roll. So the idea that you're tuning out, I think a lot of people love to rush to social media and tell you how they're over it and all that. They're not. Everybody's paying attention, and everybody wants to see the program do well. Last night was a step in that direction, and if anything, it's certainly a breath of fresh air for the coaching staff and the community, and an indication that they can do something this year. They can hang with the top teams they're going to face.
Matt, are you worried at all about the offense? The defense has been great this year, but the people still it looks bogged down. It's not what we want to see. Are you worried about the offense?
Not worried. I would like to see a little bit more. It's hard to say you want to see more out of Nathan George because he does a lot of things right, but I thought he would maybe be more of a player that put more pressure on the defense himself. Ill-advised shot at the end of the game last night, particularly in light of the fact that he hasn't been making shots. He was 1 of 7 from the field in that game, and it just wasn't the right time or place or person to be involved there. Yes, he can be a facilitator alone if everybody else has their spacing and the shots are going down. Mike from Rochester is a friend of mine, and I appreciate his comment about the projected improvement of Nate Kings. That could very well happen because there aren't a ton of catch and shoot guys right now on this team. I mean, it's Kings, maybe it's Tyler Betsy. When you talk about penetration, let's say by George on a high pick and roll, spit it out for a guy that's going to shoot it in the way that we've seen Chris Bell shoot it the past couple of years. That looks pretty. Everybody gets that, right? Somebody was in a position on the floor and did what they were supposed to do, and the ball went in the basket. Right now, this team plays in a way that it's going to look gritty and uneven, and there may be a lot of turnovers and deflections and bodies on the floor. And last night, I just thought was indicative of the way they've got to play right now. And I say we embrace it. It was a lot of fun. It was, to see a game like that in the Dome of that magnitude and something at stake and have them come through the way that they were expected to. I think it's been a welcome sight.
Tyler Betsy only played 13 minutes last night. Sadiq got 27 minutes. Is that more defensive than offensive? The fact that Sadiq gets after you defensively, was strong on the glass last night, and that lineup kind of had it working. I mean, do you think we'll see more of Tyler Betsy as the season continues, or do you think that that's going to be about right for him?
Yes and yes. I think last night it called for Sadiq to be in there and mix it up with great athletes on the other team. And, William Kyle was just awesome. And White, is a younger guy and a little smaller guy, but he gets after it defensively, is a decent rebounder, is bouncy, is indicative of the improvement in the roster. So it made sense for him to be out there despite some early foul trouble. And there may be a game where it does call for more Tyler Betsy, and you do need the 3-point shooting. And I don't think Tyler's any slouch when it comes to the other end of the floor, just because he does have that size and presents bigger in a way more so, let's say, than Cayenne and some other guys. So I think for Betsy, it's a great chance there to, there will be a time for him. I think Red was asked something to the effect after the game about, do you ask, I think Donna Datota asked it, something about, do you talk to the players about tempering their effort and sort of leaving some in the tank or managing their energy? No, that he wants to do the exact opposite of that. He wants everybody to go pedal to the metal all the time until they wear out and then get somebody else in. And when you state that, then if you're going to back that up at all, you have to think that people are eligible to play more on a regular basis, So if Betsy maybe gets 13 minutes one day, maybe he gets 23 the next.
Matt, you're talking about Betsy, it could float, but 8 guys last night. Do you see that being the rotation when you get back into the ACC after this stretch? Is it a point? I know Donnie will be there, but do you think it's going to be tighter and we're not going to see the Fennells and the others, deeper down the bench when we get into the ACC?
Yeah, that would be my expectation. Again, maybe those guys find a role here or there. I just think it's a total myth. The idea that you could get away with playing 10-plus players significant time, I just don't see it. Now, again, 2 minutes here or there. Bryce Zephyr was unavailable last night. Could he have played 2 minutes? Yeah, but what would compel you to put him in there? The only reason I can think of is I do understand if you are going to be someone who goes deep and, is going to play 9, 10, 11 over the course of the game, Dean Smith had the principle of get everybody's feet wet in the first half so they aren't going in cold like Luke Fennell here did in a recent game where he goes in only in the final 2 minutes and it mattered. I personally am I'm not a basketball coach, but if I were, I would be the type that would lean on a real core of probably 8. And, can you splash a couple minutes here or there? Yes, but I don't know what's gained from that.
All right, man, let's talk a little football before we let you go. The big news yesterday, Elijah Robinson, I guess we could say demoted, right, from defensive coordinator to co-defensive coordinator. They're going to bring in somebody else to run the defense, call the plays. What do you make of that move, and do you have any insight in terms of the kind of guy that they are looking for to run the defense?
The second part, not really. I mean, the first part, I think you had to do it. You have to, first of all, I think Fran is the type who's going to make changes almost no matter what. Now, if you go 12-0, those changes are made for you because the assistants move on to become head coaches or have other opportunities and different things like that arise. Any other combination, he's going to be looking to improve his surroundings all the time. So there's no question he was going to make coaching changes here at the end of the year. The idea of, Elijah Robinson and the connotation that, hey, these guys have been friends since they were, in grade school, I'm sure is tough on both of them. But you've got to make a show of saying, hey, that what we saw defensively was not acceptable and there need to be changes. I don't know that Fran said it publicly, but he was involved to a larger degree in defensive play calling and what the direction of what they were doing in the second half of the season too. So they were kind of tinkering over the course of the year with who did what and who signed off on the play calls and that type of thing. So I think Elijah's been around the block. He understands what's going on. He's going to be here and have a prominent role. He's a defensive line coach, and they could bring in somebody over the top of him. And really curious to see who that would be. Is that going to be somebody from Fran's background? Probably. And at what dollar figure and that kind of thing. But he obviously has attracted plenty of coaching talent here so far, even with the idea of Don Brown being around as an extra set of eyes over the course of this season. And the idea with Josh Gaddis kind of waiting in the wings after the Miles White departure. So I really do believe in Fran in terms of accumulating talent and people around him, and it'll apply to the coaching staff as well.
I know, Matt, that you try to catch the show here and there when you can. I don't know if you heard my partner's thoughts on the signing of the rapper earlier in the week, Tusi. He was not pleased with the timing of said announcement from the Grammy award-winning artist or whatever he is. What do you make of that whole situation? And I guess what's your take on him coming to Syracuse?
What do I make of the whole Paulie situation? Do you really?
You only got
Paulie
15 minutes. We'll hit that another day.
Yeah, that would be a great 2:00 online only kind of show if you guys ever want to do that.
30 for 30, Paulie.
Look, it's like a few other things that happen around here. None of the three of us are the target audience.
Right.
And it takes a while before you realize that and are cool with it. We're not the target audience. I think it's totally fine. Okay. I think, again, Fran is a little different. He has different kind of thoughts and connections. I would like to hear the story. Why Syracuse as opposed to anywhere else for this guy? I'd never heard the guy's name at all until it came up Saturday after the game. But I would say this. If he comes in and first of all, I have no problem with it relative to the number of people you bring in. If you're bringing in 30 people in a year and this is one of them, fantastic. You would thank your lucky stars if you got 18 contributors out of 30 people that you bring in a year, right? You with me on that? Let's say for round numbers, let's say 20 out of 30. If 2 of every 3 guys actually became a starter or key backup, that's pretty good. So at worst, now you're talking about let's get 18 or 20 out of 29. Let's just assume this guy can't play dead and would never see the field. Well, now in that category, does he have other things to contribute? Absolutely he does. Whether that's, now again, you have to manage them to make sure they're all positive contributions, but the culture of your locker room, the type of fun you have, who's to say he doesn't put on a halftime show or perform at the block party on campus or these other things. Again, I just think it's about let's get as much talent and value in the building as possible and then work to see how you manage that and put people in the right position. I'm under no delusion that this guy's going to walk in and be Randy Moss. I mean, maybe he is. Maybe we're completely off, and then it's a tremendous story. But I think, there's 100 plus people on the football roster, 116, right? If you could find a reason for him to be around and a way they contribute, more power to you.
For the record, I'd like to defend myself for those that are just tuning in. And I just didn't like the timing.
I said that to him in the question.
Okay,
I said he didn't like the timing.
What would you rather they have done? I mean, this is the timing that it happens.
Wait till the signing day. Just
Why? Because
don't
it's
make it a separate news. No,
you think it's because it's silly after they lost a lot of games? What's that?
No, you just got smoked by BC and Notre Dame.
So what? They signed a bunch of
changes.
people. You think all these guys? You think all these people here are going to? On signing day, we make everybody out to be like they're just a step away from the Hall of Fame. I haven't even looked at the names.
Nobody else got an announcement.
A bunch of them aren't going to be on the field. Yeah, the other guys don't have a huge following and platinum records and whatever. What do you care? I don't really understand why it's a negative thing.
It wasn't negative. I said it was a great thing. Also, I just didn't like the timing. It just act like.
Well, then he maybe goes somewhere else. Then, if that's what you want it to be. I mean, I don't understand what timing really had to do with it in that situation, and when would have been the right time. I think you were particularly grumpy this week, but were you also anti-court storming? Did you come out on that today?
I wasn't anti-court storming because if you were a college kid, because you haven't had anything to cheer about for the past, none of these guys have seen a tournament game. Right. So yeah, I don't have a problem. But if you were over 25 and you were part of that, I probably would have tripped you.
Well, if you're over 25, you shouldn't be out on the court anyway. It's for the students.
Yeah.
So
no, I didn't have a problem with it just because it's been a while.
It has been a while. Matt, good stuff as always. Get some rest. No game now for a week, so hopefully we can all catch our collective breath. Yes.
Red Autry show tomorrow.
That's right.
Wildcat.
That's right. Still have that. Yes.
That's right.
All right, Matt. Be
And
well.
JJ Starling also should not be in crunch time. Thank you.
Oh, boy.
I might as well just be the complete grump.
Matt, thanks for coming on. Be well.
Yeah, good luck with that, guys.